Welcome to the Radiant Life with Tatiana. I am your host, and I'm obsessed with empowering you to live and create the best life possible. I'm a master mindset coach, breathwork facilitator, and a passionate little Latina who loves sharing the magic behind your subconscious mind and energetics. If you're looking to uplevel your mindset, learn all about spirituality and manifestation, and to be inspired in making a change to embody your best self, you are in the right place. My goal is for you to see and unlock your limitless potential, to have the tools to break free from the chains holding you back so you can create and live your most radiant life. I am so excited to have you here listening today. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hello, love, and welcome to the Radiant Life podcast. As you can tell by today's episode title, we are talking about people pleasing. This is something so many people struggle with, whether it's unconscious for you and you don't realize you're people pleasing, or you're like, nope, I'm over here raising my hand, chronic people pleaser over here. It's very common, and I think it's a really important topic to discuss because it's not serving you. Before we dive into today, I just on my heart, I just have to say thank you. I've just been receiving so much feedback, so many messages, so much love around how you've found me, most of you probably from TikTok or some other platform, and you found the podcast and you've been binging it and listening to it, and it's impacting you and it's making you feel more positive and take control of your mindset and your thoughts and just empowering you to be the best version of you and feeling more confident in yourself. Wow. I get emotional thinking about it because that is why I started this podcast. That is my mission. It was really here to give you a detailed free resource because my mission in life is to help you become the best version of yourself so that you can create and live your most radiant life. And radiant life is consisted of love and happiness and positivity and thriving careers, thriving relationships and friendships and health. And it's little by little. And I don't know where you're at in your journey and what episodes are impacting you, but I'm just so grateful that you are here, you are listening. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you sharing on social media and with your friends because I feel like that's how we change the world, is when we first change ourselves and share with people what's impacting us. And your messages, your DMs, your emails, they do not go unnoticed. I'm pretty sure I've responded to almost all of them. I'm an open book. I love connecting with you guys. So thank you. And if you have anything to say, if you have requests on a topic, if you have any questions, send me a DM, send me an email. I really do respond. My heart is really to be here to support you. Okay, just had to share that. But anyways, let's dive into people pleasing because this is something I struggled so much with. And before we get started, I really want you to take a moment. And if you're yes, this is for me, I am a people pleaser, let's change how you view yourself and the label you're putting on yourself, because right there, that is a label. And if you ever come to any of my lives or my Zoom calls or talk to me in person, if I hear you say I am a people pleaser, I literally would be whoa, let's change that. Because anything you say after I am is what you become. And it kind of keeps you stuck in that bubble because you're declaring who you are, right? And this is why I believe affirmations are such a beautiful, useful tool to help you become a new version of yourself, because you are now declaring who you are and who you're becoming. And you say I am confident, I am beautiful, I am a successful business owner. So these are empowering ones, right? But if you're saying I am a complainer, or I am a people pleaser, you're just keeping yourself in that behavior that you don't want to be in. So how can you overcome it? So let's talk a little bit about that today. We're going to just talk about ways to overcome people pleasing, and I'm already diving into it. So blah, blah, blah. But just be mindful moving forward. I am overcoming people pleasing. I am learning to put myself first. And let's just start there. So people pleasing is something I have struggled a lot with. And for me, I think it stemmed from watching my mother. My mom is the kindest, sweetest soul in the world and will do anything for anyone. And in turn can come off, as people pleasing, right? Because she has such a big heart. And I think I watched that growing up, and I was always very like sensitive and very, very aware at a very young age of my surroundings and the people around me. And I never wanted to upset or hurt anyone. And even during like my mean girl kind of bullying years in high school, I still never like wanted to intentionally hurt someone that I cared about, like my friends, my family. And you know, so much so that I would let myself down so I wouldn't let somebody else down. And maybe this is you. And this does no one any good, because at the end of the day, you are your first priority. And if you're not prioritizing yourself, your energy, your happiness, you're not showing up as the best version of yourself. I say the analogy all the time, but it's true. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup. It doesn't matter if you are a stay-at-home mom, a nurse, a teacher, the CEO of a 7-figure business. You need to put yourself first, and you have to have boundaries. And people pleasing comes with boundaries. And so like, just take a moment here. Like, let's just do a little exercise together. I think this is really good to like bring awareness. Think back to a time where you people pleased, where you said yes, or you did something for someone else, even though you really didn't want to, but you did it anyways because of XYZ. Think about it. And when you think of this moment, what emotion do you notice in your body? Is there anger? Is there frustration? Is there resentment? Is there guilt? Is there annoyingness? Or maybe is it neutral? Have you been able to move past it? And I want you to just like remember back into that time and ask yourself, like, why did you say yes when you wanted to say no? Why did you people please? You know, like bring awareness here. Was there a fear? Like, okay, what was the fear? What were you nervous to hurt their feelings, nervous of judgment, nervous of XYZ? Like, you need to bring awareness as to what quote unquote story, belief, reasoning your mind created for you to then create the decision. Because at the end of the day, it's your choice, your decision to people please and to do something maybe you didn't want to do or you weren't in alignment with. And if you felt an emotion when you think back of that person or that memory, that situation, can you realize how like that emotion still is lingering in your body? And that emotion doesn't serve you, especially if it's a quote unquote negative emotion. And I say quote unquote negative emotion because I've changed my view on emotions. I don't want to classify them as neither good nor bad. They just are. And really what they are is just, they're just energy, because emotions are just energy in motion, right? But the difference is they're just at a different vibration, a different frequency. So anger, sadness, resentment, guilt, they're just a lower frequency vibrational emotion versus happy, joy, gratitude. And so I don't want to classify them as good nor bad, because I don't want you to think it's bad to feel angry, but it doesn't serve you to hold anger in your body. That's a low vibration. And these emotions, they're not bad, but what you do with them are bad, or what you don't do with them are bad, meaning avoiding them or suppressing them, or anger, raging, right? So like, let's reframe this in a way for you to understand, to help you end people pleasing. I think this was a really good example that I've shared with clients before that really helped them. And I really want you to see what people pleasing is doing to you. So just, think of energy, right? Everything is energy of all these like subatomic atom particles floating in the air. But imagine a bubble around you. Imagine your favorite color. Maybe it's a green bubble, a pink bubble, whatever it is. And I want you to see it like this. You have this glowing bubble around you, an aura, if you want to call it. When you people please and say yes to something that you don't want to say yes to, or that you're not in alignment to it, you're losing parts of your energy in a way that can't be replaced. So imagine the bubble now like having like little speckles being released, and it's starting to look like Swiss cheese. And what you're doing subconsciously is that you're telling your subconscious mind that your own needs and desires are not as important. And like that you're not honoring yourself. You're not honoring your boundaries. You're not honoring what is in alignment and true to you. And unfortunately, what this is doing is this is building a lack of trust. And that's how the cycle continues. You're creating a program, a subconscious habit where you're automatically able to say yes to things before maybe even thinking about, is this truly what I want? Am I in alignment to doing this? Right? So when you're not people pleasing, because people are like, if you're listening, you're like, okay, but if I say yes to something, it's not like it's always taking energy from me. No, there's a difference. If you're saying yes to someone or something or a favor that you're like in alignment, you're doing it from a place of love and desire versus obligation or fear, that is your energy like spreading out. And so imagine the bubble getting bigger and bigger and encompassing your friend or the person or the situation. There's a difference between when you do something from obligation or a fear or a worry versus desire and love. Do you get that? And I feel like that bubble illustration is good. Like, is this taking things away from me, or can I add to this? And at the end of the day, no one is in charge of your life. You are in charge of it. You are in control of your own life. These are your decisions. No one can force you to make a decision in your life. And if they do, that's a different story. If you're listening here and we're adults, who is to tell us what we should do and shouldn't do, right? Only we know what's best for us. And we can take opinions and advice, but no one should be controlling us, right? So like, you get to choose your decisions. You get to choose who you hang out with. You get to choose who your friends are and what favors you do in X, Y, Z. So when you thought about why did I people please at that situation I asked earlier, maybe you had the fear that somebody would get angry or that you would hurt someone or that you would let them down or that they wouldn't be able to do X, Y, Z. Maybe they won't be friends with you anymore. Whatever fear and story your mind is coming up with, I want you to remember that you are not responsible for that person's feelings or their decisions or their actions. Again, I've said this so many times, but like, we cannot take on how someone's going to respond because we really don't know how someone's going to respond. That comes into assumptions, and we cannot make assumptions. This is an agreement in the 4 Agreements book that is phenomenal. I have all my clients read it. If you haven't read it, read it, listen to it. We can't make assumptions as how someone's going to think, feel, respond. And if we're doing something to not have them feel that way or not have them feel angry or let down, then we're doing something for the wrong reasons. And they may have not responded that way. And if they did, it's not your responsibility when sometimes you have your own needs and desires and boundaries for yourself for a reason. And if that person's going to get mad at you, well, let me ask you this. Would you actually want to be friends with someone who doesn't respect your choices, who doesn't respect your boundaries, right? A friend who doesn't want to be friends with you anymore because you put yourself first and there's a way to communicate it. But if you communicated it nicely, a friend who's just not going to stop talking to you, drop you as a friend, is that really a friend? It sounds kind of toxic, right? And, I've had people in my life like this before, and it's like, whoa, you should want me to put my boundaries up. You should want me to choose me, right? Like the friends I have now, oh man. And that's not to say all my other friends don't, but like they've just taught me in such a different way. They've been able to be like, hey, I'm just energetically or emotionally or just like, I'm not feeling good to do this right now, to do this favor or to come over and hang out. Or, hey, like that just doesn't feel in alignment for me. I hope you can understand, right? And like, I'm like, okay, cool. Heck yeah. I respect your boundaries. I respect your choice. Cool. Can I ask somebody else for the favor? Cool. Can I not take things personally and get all upset, right? Or vice versa. It's huge. And that's like what true healthy relationships and friendships look like. And family, right? Family can get a little toxic too. But sometimes you got to put yourself first and you got to teach people how to respect your boundaries. And, if it's this fear of like, I don't want to lose someone, I don't want to upset them, I don't want to ruin the friendship or the relationship with like my cousin, my sister, whatever, I think you need to realize that at the end of the day, like some people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Not everyone's meant to be here, where as we grow and evolve, they may not be growing and evolving, and maybe you just love them, but you love them at an arm's distance now. And it's not besties, but it's acquaintances or friends, right? Because you are the average of the 5 people you're surrounding yourself with. You want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, people who respect your choices, who respect your boundaries, who support you. And if not, then maybe they're not meant to be in your lives at this season. So, for me, I used to have this fear of like letting someone down, and like I would lie to them, like white lie to them, because I was scared to communicate my boundary or my undesire. And like sometimes if I didn't want to people please, I would be like, oh, I have this thing that I can't do this for. And then my energy would just be so uncomfortable because I lied, you know? And then, I don't know, it would just create this cycle. And then either I would resent them or then I would feel guilty if I did do it. And like, no. So how can you work on ending people pleasing? I just went on a tangent here, but hopefully this is helping you just reframe the way you see it in your mind and see the energy and like release the hold of the fear of XYZ of why you people please. But moving forward, I want you to start paying attention to how you feel in certain situations around certain people and environments. And I want you to just notice, is there a feeling of obligation? Is there a feeling of unalignment of like, oh, I don't want to do this, or this doesn't feel good, or this person doesn't respect my boundaries, or this person will ask for one thing and then just asks for more and more and more, because there's sometimes energy vampires. And if they know you're never going to say no, they're just going to keep going to you versus somebody else. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to do anything you don't want to do. And if you do, you're wasting your time and your energy. And your energy is so important. We all have the same time in life, right? So if you're doing something for someone else for the wrong reasons, it's affecting you, not that other person. And I want you to think of it this way. Do you want to look back and resent yourself or the person for doing things for other people versus for yourself? You need to make choices that feel good to you. So next time somebody asks you to do something or a favor and you don't want to go, or you don't feel like it, or it's just like not the right time, but you have this little voice in your head that you don't want to let them down. I know I was talking to clients this week and I was like, I always tell them, like, name your voices. There's typically two voices, like you have the devil and the angel on your shoulders. Typically there's this voice of either doubt or critic, the voice that tells you like you should or shouldn't do things, or you can't, like, who are you to do this, or this person's going to leave you, you're going to anger, whatever. Like, that like, critic, cool. Serves you a purpose, maybe there to keep you safe at times. Name that voice, name that part of you, and then bring in the other part. Make sure you have two parts. One of my clients is like, oh, I only have the inner critic. I'm like, well, what about Grace? I call mine Grace. She called hers Hope. And it's like, you need to bring Grace here so Grace can come and speak from wisdom and compassion and grace and realist, and like let you see things in a different light. Okay, so you have the situation come up next, and I want you to ask yourself, why? Why do I feel the need to say yes when I really want to say no? What am I afraid? What do I have to lose? And like, you have to uncover the thoughts or the beliefs or the stories that your unconscious mind is telling you that is maybe creating you to have this people-pleasing tendency, whether it's conscious or subconsciously. And like, remember, what are you telling your subconscious mind when you people-please? That you don't trust yourself, that others' needs come first. So can you say no? Can you set a boundary for yourself so you can show respect for yourself, right? If there's this story in your head of like, well, if I don't do this, then they won't be friends with me anymore, or they will be mad, or XYZ. Okay, well, one, can you acknowledge that that's an assumption? Two, if that's truth, do you need them in your life? And, ask yourself, okay, what do I wish I could say right now? Oh, I wish I could just say like, I'd really love to, but just not today, or I'm not feeling it, or that's not something I feel like doing. Cool. How can you build that confidence in yourself to do it? Maybe that's practicing out loud when you look in the mirror, saying no more. Maybe that's practicing, you write down what you want to say in a nice tone, and then you voice memo it to someone or you text it to someone. But how can you start building the confidence in yourself to say what you wish you could say, right? A few other questions you can ask yourself in these moments is, what consequences will happen if you people please? Maybe you'll waste time, you'll get annoyed, you'll miss out on the thing you wanted to do by putting this other person first. Maybe you'll feel resentment. What are the consequences, and then what are the benefits? What are true benefits when you people please? Is it like acknowledgement? Is it validation? And when you do this whole consequence to benefits list, you'll notice there's probably more consequences than benefits. So that's giving more proof to your subconscious mind that it's not serving you. And so there should be more of an empowerment to say no. And if you're sitting here listening like, okay, Tati, cool, but what if I'm really unsure if it's in alignment or if it's really what I want to do from a place of love and give versus obligation? Ask for 24 hours before giving an answer. Be like, hey, I'm not really sure can I just get back to you in a day? Give yourself the space and time. No one needs, you don't need to give well, it depends on the situation, but give yourself space and time to actually sit on it and think about it. And at the end of the day, bring awareness to the thoughts and the feelings that you feel in that moment. Is it worth it? Is it worth living your life to please other people? You come first. How can you live life to please you so that you can show up as the best version of yourself, so that you can then just give to give? You can help to help. You can be just you. Because once you decide to put you first and communicate it in a nice, proper way, things shift. You have more energy, you have more time, you have more happiness and joy because you're living for you versus to please other people. And I know I've worked with so many nurses and teachers and caretakers, and you have such big hearts, but is it worth draining yourself to please other people? No, you gotta pour from a full cup. So a good way to communicate these boundaries or these no people pleasing ways, I'll just give you a few examples here. It's hey, I'm not really in alignment with that. I'm not in the mood for it. I hope you can understand I'm not in the mood to go out and do that. Can we do this instead? Maybe if it's somebody who wants to hang out with you and they want to go to a party or something, but you're not you don't want to do that. You don't want to go watch, I don't know, just whatever. It's not your vibe. Bring another option instead. Hey, can we hang out next week instead of going to the thing they want you to go to when you're just exhausted or tired or you don't enjoy it? Or maybe it's acknowledging, hey, thanks for the invite. I hope you can respect my decision to not do that this weekend. It just doesn't settle right. I don't feel like it, or I kind of am interested in doing something else. Saying no or communicating boundaries doesn't have to come off harsh or rude or mean. It has to come from a place of just I hope you can just respect my boundaries. I hope you can respect it. I hope you can appreciate that I'm being honest with you, but no, right? How can you use your voice? Maybe you practice in the mirror, you practice in the car. Find ways to feel calm in your body, getting grounded before if you're not used to saying no to people, but knowing that you may be saying no to them, but you're saying yes to you. And how many times have you said yes to them and no to you? That's not fair, right? So you are saying yes to, oh my God, my hair is falling out right now. But you are saying yes to you. And how cool and how empowering is that? And if you're over here of tots, but I'm feeling guilty or I feel like I'm disappointing them, how can you handle the guilt and the disappointment? My question for you would be, why are you okay with disappointing yourself more than disappointing somebody else? Ooh, let that sit for a second. Why are you okay with disappointing yourself more than someone else? You're the only person choosing to let yourself feel guilty. No one has the power to cause you to feel a certain way. This is such a hard concept, and it's so frustrating sometimes, even for myself. And I'm you're making me upset. Well, yeah, what you said maybe bothered me, but my thoughts are creating the emotions that I'm allowing to, right? I can choose to take something personally. I can choose to take defense to something, right? So what if you could reframe it and just say, instead of oh, I just feel so guilty, I'm such a bad person, and putting yourself down, could you say, I'm so proud. I just put myself first for the first time. Wow. That doesn't mean I can't say no to them or help them in the future, but just in this moment, it's not for today. And I'm so proud I put myself first. What can you do to shake off that story, that thought, or that feeling? Because you're feeling something, because you're telling yourself something that's creating the feeling. So instead of saying I'm such a bad person or whatever is happening unconsciously, what can you do to shift the thoughts, to release the guilt, to release the disappointment? Maybe it's forgiveness, right? Sometimes I do Ho'oponopono or forgive myself. Sometimes I dance or shake it off or go on a walk or just breathe if it's uncomfortable, because I don't want to have to say no, but at the end of the day, I know my boundaries. So how can you move through that? And at the end of the day, I'm going to re-bring it back full circle here. If you continuously say, I am a people pleaser, you're going to continue to be one. So what can you say instead? What affirmation can you switch to? I am overcoming people-pleasing tendencies. I am learning to use my voice and say no more to things that are not in alignment to me. I am confident in setting boundaries with people, right? These are more empowering. So I encourage you today to set a new affirmation that every time the I am a people pleaser slips out, nope, rewind, change it. Your subconscious mind needs repetition. You need to repeat these new ways. Be proactive. Say affirmations in the mirror. This is going to remind you of maybe this behavior, this label that you've put on yourself and what you're changing and who you're becoming. Affirmations are great. I love teaching them to clients. I have an affirmations freebie. If you don't have it yet, you can grab it, the link in the show notes below. But I think these are just good ways to view people pleasing in a different light and learning to say yes to you more. And sometimes that means saying no to other people, but let's not continue to disappoint yourself or your life for other people. Okay. And if this is something you struggle with, there may be some deeper wounds, subconscious programming, beliefs that may have been inserted in you, whether from you or other people, at a very young age. And sometimes it takes some deeper subconscious rewiring work to help you step into your power, step into your confidence, really learn what you are in alignment with or aren't in alignment with. Maybe you don't know. You have to know more of who you are to know what your boundaries are. Maybe you don't feel comfortable communicating your boundaries. Either way, this is the stuff I teach and coach and support you inside of Embrace Your Radiance. So if that's something you are looking to really overcome this on a deeper level and take more control back of your life and your mind, your thoughts and your beliefs, join this program. It is life-changing. I would love to have you inside. You can learn more on my website and apply with the link below. And, we can chat. We can set up a free consultation call to make sure this program is a good fit for you. Because if it's not, let's find the right path for you. And I'm really here to help support you either way. But I hope this was really supportive and eye-opening. I hope this helps you feel more confident and empowered to say yes to you more. And yeah, if you valued from this, take a screenshot, share it on Instagram, tag me, or send me a message with feedback. I love it. I appreciate you so much. And just continue to take baby steps in becoming the best version of yourself. This change doesn't happen overnight. Maybe you didn't realize you people please till after it. Okay, cool. Don't beat yourself up. What's one thing you can now do moving forward just to improve this? Maybe it's listening to this. Maybe it's taking notes. Maybe it's having a reminder of that affirmation, and take baby steps. But please do something with this information, because it's not about what you know intellectually by listening to this. It's what you do with what you know, and it's about implementing it. And I really hope this gives you support in doing so. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I love you. Continue to embrace you, who you are, shine your light into the world, and I hope you have the most radiant day. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to share it with me and write an Apple iTunes review so I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me, you can find me on Instagram at Tatiana_Kuto. Make sure to tag me in any posts that you share. I love and appreciate you so much and cannot wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out and radiate your light into the world.